Wall Street is wrapping up its first losing quarter in 2 years. That's our top story today on the Wall Report. I'm your host, Greta Wall. The major indices are all lower today as Q1 officially comes to a close. And the market is digesting some fresh inflation data. The PCE price index hit a new 40-year high in February. The Bureau of Economic Analysis reporting today that index jumped 6.4% year over year last month, which is the strongest annual gain since January of 1982. The core PCE index, which is the Fed's preferred inflation measure and does exclude food and energy prices, also jumped 5.4% annually, which is the strongest gain since April of 1983. On a monthly basis, headline inflation pressures rose 0.6% from January to February, while core prices were up 0.4%. And those high prices weighed on consumers for the month as well. Consumer spending rising just 0.2% versus economist expectations for a 0.5% gain. And at the same time, personal incomes rose just 0.5%, continuing to drag behind inflation. Remember, that headline inflation number came in at 0.6% monthly. Now, for the other economic data of the day, weekly jobless claims did rise more than expected. Labor Department reporting that 202,000 Americans filed initial claims for unemployment benefits last week. That was a 14,000 person increase from the week before and higher than expectations for 196,000. But continuing claims did fall more than expected, dropping by 35,000 to 1.307 million in the week ending March 19th. Now, oil prices are sliding today after the White House did officially unveil a new plan to try and combat high gas prices here in the U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures falling more than 4% to $103 per barrel. Brent crude futures, meantime, also down nearly 5% to $108 per barrel. And this drop comes as President Biden is planning to release 1 million barrels of oil per day from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve for the next 6 months. Now, this is the largest and longest release in U.S. history, but it's not expected to make a huge impact on global oil supply. The U.S. consumes, on average, 20 million barrels of oil per day, and this release of 1 million barrels per day is just 5% of that daily usage. Goldman Sachs researchers said the release will help rebalance the oil market this year, but, quote, will not resolve the structural supply deficit years in the making. Biden is set to speak in about an hour about his administration's efforts to help Americans with gas prices. Now, meantime, OPEC Plus did vote as expected today to continue their slow increase in oil output. The group approved a production bump of just 423,000 barrels per day starting May 1st. Now, that's in line with their previous plans to just slowly beef up production after oil prices hit record lows amid the pandemic. OPEC has so far not agreed to speed up that increase in output, even as global oil supply concerns are looming overhead. Now, in earnings news, Walgreens shares are dragging on the Dow today despite beating expectations. Shares of the drugstore chain tumbling more than 4% in today's session. Now, Walgreens reported fiscal Q2 adjusted earnings of $1.59 per share on $33.76 billion in revenue. That did beat analyst expectations on both the top and bottom line. Same-store sales in the U.S. jumped 14.7% year over year, which is the largest gain in more than 20 years. But the company credited that strong demand to the Omicron variant and crediting that for their beat in performance. Walgreens did reiterate its previous full-year outlook for earnings growth in 2022 in the low single digits. And as this month and this quarter come to a close, traders have their eyes on the jobs report tomorrow morning. Labor Department releases the official March jobs report at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. That is expected to show the economy added 490,000 jobs this month, with the unemployment rate falling to 3.7%. Now, that would be a sharp slowdown in growth from previous months as the labor market nears full employment, with the pool of available workers continuing to shrink. Let me know your predictions in the comments, and be sure you're subscribed to my Coffee with Greta newsletter to get those results delivered right to your inbox before the market open at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. There's a link in the description box to sign up. I'll see you back here for the Wall Report at noon on Friday. Hit that subscribe button before you go.